This meeting is now called to order. 5:30. It's the regular meeting of the City of Seaside Parks and Rec Commission. Roll call.
Commissioner Walton,
Here.
Commissioner White, Commissioner Gaines Lynch, Vice Chair Lobo,
Here.
Chair Maxwell.
Present.
For the record, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, item 3 is review of the agenda. If there's any items that arose after the 72-hour posting deadline, this is the point in the meeting where a vote may be taken to add the item to the agenda. A 2/3 majority vote is required. Are there anybody that would like to add an agenda item? Seeing none, moving on. Public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the commission on matters within the jurisdiction of the City of Seaside, but not on this agenda, may do so during the public comment period for up to 3 minutes. Comments on specific agenda items are heard under that item. For the public record, please state your name.
Members in the chamber, please approach the podium. Members on Zoom, you can use the raise your hand feature or dial *9 if you're on a telephone.
Seeing no one in the chamber, is there anyone on
There's no one on
the
Zoom.
video thing? Okay, public comment is now closed. Okay, item number 5 is approval of minutes, which we don't have in our packet.
They're in there. The minutes are in there. I just didn't attach. There's no attachments.
They are? Oh, I'm sorry. I got dizzy looking upside down and stuff. Okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the January 27th, 2025 meeting. Anything under question? No? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, business items. A, discussion on a potential Parks and Recreation Master Plan project, which would be an indoor facility development. And Vice Chair Carla Lobo brought this to the attention of this commission. Yes.
So this is just another work plan item that we've had in the works. 1 from our master plan, 2 from our work plan that we approved last year. We're also going to be talking about a work plan. So it might be beneficial for us to move number C up to number B, switch them around so that once we have the presentation, we have that information fresh in our minds. I'm not sure how long the consultants will be here. I had an opportunity to go to the annual conference out in Sacramento for Parks and Recs. And so my time there, I had an opportunity to see other cities, listen into some guest speakers or keynote speakers. And then also on the second floor, the bottom floor, they had vendors. And so this was one of the individuals that I had an opportunity to speak. I kind of gave them an idea of what our master plan is for our Parks and Recs, and then dived a little bit into what our work plan is and what we've worked towards. This past year, we worked a lot on the ordinance for our commission, which we'll have an update on what the next steps are. That ordinance has been updated. There has been changes, but our changes weren't included in that, which should have been when the city clerk and city staff decided to look into that. It wasn't our work plan. We are required to turn that in. So everyone was aware we were working on it, but somehow we got left behind on not adding our comments into that. We'll have an update on that. This is just the second step on goals and what we want to prioritize for this year's work plan. And then I will pass it on to Greg, I believe is online for the presentation.
I am. Commissioners, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come present to your group. Myself, I am Gregor Markle. I'm a managing principal with Dahlin. We're an architectural firm headquartered out of Northern California. We've been in the area for over 45 years. We did get the chance to speak with the commissioner at the CPRS conference and have kind of an idea of what you want. What she asked us to do is put together a quick presentation for our gymnasium experience, just to give you guys a sense of that and kind of show you some different samples of work product and things of that nature. When you start to talk about gymnasiums in general, and I'll start to share this so you guys can see this up. I've sent a request for sharing. Evidently, sharing is not turned on yet. So,
You should be good now.
okay. There we go. Let me do this. Let me know when you can see my screen, and I'll put this in presentation mode so it looks better. Da, 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 da. Hopefully, you can see that.
No.
Uh,
There we go. It looks like now we're good.
all right, there we go. Excellent. Joys of technology. Anyway, and so this is just a quick SOQ book that we put together for some different gymnasium products or projects that we put together. Each one is kind of a unique uh, piece in its own right, because a lot of it just has to do with the program, the needs and desires of each of the different users for what they're doing. And what I'll kind of do is walk you through this really quickly. Come on, move forward. Come on, there we go. I'll have to click. Just real quickly about us. Dahlin is a firm. As I said, we're over 45 years old. Our corporate headquarters is here in Pleasanton, California, but we've got offices throughout the state. We have been doing civic work for quite a while. We do a lot of work for public agencies. I love that number, over 20 in there. Here's just some quick projects we've done, all of which include gymnasiums, just to kind of give you a sense of the variety of the gyms and what they can do, but also community center work. This happens to be the Marion V. Ashley Community Center. It's located down in Menifee, California, Southern California. It's a combination recreation center, community, childcare services, and daycare, are along with the gym with a full rec program. This was a LEED certified building. This is the Oak Park Community Center, which is a new gymnasium and community center that was in the city of Sacramento for Oak Park. This is a LEED Gold certified building, but was predominantly a gym. But it also, if you notice in the photo, it's got a little platform area. They use it. It's kind of a multi-purpose facility. It also hosts concert events, plays, other things like that. So there's a lot of different things in the community. One of their key design features was having this large wall of glass, because it keeps that connection from the community center into the park, which it is a part of. This is the Mark Gallo Fitness Center at Central Catholic High School in Modesto, California. This is a new recreation center. This is predominantly their home court for their basketball, volleyball, and other indoor competition programs, but it also doubles as a multi-purpose center for a lot of different functions for school events, large and small. And then the backside of it actually has classrooms and a full fitness center as well for their varsity sports program. This was the Boys and Girls Club of Carlsbad, another kind of multi-purpose facility that was done in Southern California. Was designed to be very much a residential scale, a lot of different components and pieces, kids' activity zones, things like that. But again, also a gym. I'm going to turn this over to Dan Berghauser, who's with me, and Dan's going to introduce the next couple of projects to you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. I'm Dan Berghauser, a senior architect with Dahlin, and working with Gregor on these many projects. The projects I'm going to present here are a little bit different, showing a little bit more of the front end capability that we've done with other cities, with the the whole process of starting from day one and what is the next steps and guiding them through the development of a project. This one is in Yucca Valley down in Southern California. This one we were brought on day one. They had a vision, a dream, and we worked with them on establishing their goals, ironing out what their program elements would be, working with them on site and land use. So we helped them find 3 sites around their town, help them identify the positives, the negatives, the constraints, worked with them, their city council, and all their stakeholders to help identify a piece of land that worked best for the program and the vision they had for the project. Once that land was established, we helped guide them through the RFP process that brought on an architect to design the project. And we've stayed on with them as a project manager to help lead and guide them through this project delivery. We're now getting through the construction and we're about a year out from completing this project. This one has a large gymnasium component with also a natatorium aquatic as well. This project here is in the city of Walnut, also down in Southern California, showcasing a little bit more of the design side. With them, we met with them and their stakeholders to understand the goals, the needs of their operations team, understanding what the public works team had envisioned for these spaces, and additionally met with the community to understand what their evolving needs were. This facility has started to age and is no longer meeting and adapting to those community needs. So we were brought in to help revision this facility and how we can curtail what it's got and what amenities we could add to help strengthen the program and the community assets. This project also had a large component of a teen center that was down below the gymnasium. This really facilitated this building becoming a hub of youth activity and youth energy. So we really try to bring that in through our design elements. Additionally, you can see we've done quite a variety of different gym types, multi-level gyms, lots of different programs that are associated to the gymnasium component, and different levels of degree, whether it's heavier towards athletics or heavier towards multi-purpose. And then lastly is a composite showing quite a breadth of work that we've done in the Northern California and Southern California area, gymnasiums with additional components of program that were associated with those buildings. And with that, I would like to kind of conclude our presentation and open it up to see if there were any questions that came up.
Thank you for your presentation. Any commissioners have any questions? Vice Chair.
Can you give us kind of a timeline with the last project that you all did in Yakima, I think you said?
Oh, Yucca Valley.
Yeah. From start to finish, what does that timeline look like? We're having preliminary discussions now, but what does that project scope look like once you begin to iron out looking for locations? What is the first steps does that look like?
Yeah, for the start of the Yucca Valley project, that was, kind of inception where we were brought on. We did the visioning and, as Dan mentioned, kind of a variety of different site locations. The total process was about 6 months of just kind of visioning for that piece of it. It's a bit larger than what Commissioner you mentioned in terms of a potential scope of work. So something that you're looking at might be 3 to 6 months in terms of that type of, kind of front end process. Once you get back beyond that and then into construction documents, things like that, that's about a 6 to 9 month process, depending upon how quickly you can get through it. And then construction, of course, to complete the project. So you're looking at a few years of total development time at a minimum, something that you would be used to for about any other kind of community facility, a community center, or something like that. It's about the same time frame as far as kind of visioning, finding sites. And a lot of it just depends upon how quickly you go, understanding program, what you want to do, and then really finding best site, best location, and then how to adapt it for your uses. And really what you're trying to get out of the project.
My next question is the concept level as far as pricing estimate. This would be considered a capital expense for our commission. And we do have a couple of projects down the pipeline that we've kind of helped along. One of our biggest projects that we have right now that should be finished is the Lincoln Cunningham and Havana, which is it wasn't a built of a facility, but it was upgrading the items in that area. So I think that was our last big project that we've kind of helped along with our master plan. So can you give us kind of like a pricing estimate on what we should look for? We're going to be going into budget review next month, I believe, if it hasn't already started. And so it'd be nice to kind of get a ballpark number that we can begin to work with so that we can start getting our feet wet in this particular area, especially because it would be a couple of months out, or I'm sorry, a couple of years out actually to begin construction is what I'm hearing. And possibly a 1.5 year plan on locating a site and then program needs. I think overall it may be a multifaceted center versus just being a gym. I think the gym is just an inclusionary because we don't have currently in our city an indoor gym aside from our local Boys and Girls Club and our local schools.
Got it. Yeah, as far as pricing for those types of things, a lot of it depends upon the amount of time it takes and then deliverables that you're looking to receive from that. Whether it's just simple conceptual site plans and programmatic information versus what you saw in the Yucca Valley slides or even the City of Walnut slides, which is kind of more detailed renderings and things like that. Your cost could vary anywhere from $15,000 all the way up to, I'd say, $35,000. And again, that's depending upon deliverables, number of sites, things of that nature that you're looking for, kind of for that initial study.
And another big piece is the number of stakeholders and community engagement events that you would like us to participate in. Those can drive up the price. So if it's a little bit more limited or streamlined, or we're able to double dip in meetings, that's always an advantageous way to keep the price down.
Both said, Dan.
My last question is, when we're doing our key planning, what are areas that we should begin to focus on? One of our items on our agenda today is to speak about our work plan and what we want to focus, what goal we'd like to focus on this year. What would be something that we should take into consideration when we are beginning this pathway into developing a facility in our municipality?
Really good question. Probably one of the key things is understanding your program and the uses for the facility. When you say like a multi-purpose facility, what are the different functions or programs that you want to be able to drive out of that facility? And then that may also inform where you want to locate the facility. If it's, we're going to do something that's, kind of a multi-generational facility that will serve seniors in the morning to afternoon hours, and then youth and teen from kind of end of school through end of day hours type of thing. You have the ability to kind of centrally locate those types of facilities, and or if you've already got facilities that you can then turn around and make this new facility adjacent to. It gives you the opportunity to do things like share staffing and overlap a lot of your services, so that way they're a little more consolidated. But again, part of that is when you look at the programming, it's what do I want to get out of this? What are the different events? What are the different things that I want to do with this facility such that I'm able to leverage keeping it open and active as possible? We always look to facilities to be as multi-use, as multifunctional as possible, so that way you're getting the maximum out of them. You never want to do specific space, even if it's a gymnasium, that is typically only used for a sport or a activity because it'll sit quiet a lot of the time, and that's expensive space for cities to contemplate, having that they're maintaining and dealing with and heating and cooling and all that good stuff. Even though Seaside's a very mild and temperate climate, it's, the envy of a lot of people being right there on the coast next to Monterey. But a lot of it is programming, and then that will help drive location and other things you want to do. The more things like that you guys have dialed in, that you feel you confidently understand about the facility, the better it will be for you moving forward in that process. The more decisions you can make up front, the more clarity you can provide in an RFP to a consultant team to, help bring them on in the first place and, drive that process.
I would second Gregor on programming as well. I think it's really the stem to all of these other tasks that come with planning a project like this, whether it's starting to do cost estimating, conceptual design, community engagement, operational analysis. All of these cost questions, design questions stem from that starting program. And the more clarity and engagement you've already had about that program, so that way when a designer is brought on board, it's been already vetted through council, it's been vetted through the community, been kind of cross-checked across all your stakeholders. This is the program we want to move forward with. It really streamlines that process. That way you're not getting someone that comes in halfway into a project and all of a sudden now they want a pool component to your project. It really slows and can stutter a project along quite a long path. And so really getting that program as figured out as possible at the start can really help reduce time and cost on a project.
Well, I want to thank both of you for the excellent presentation. And I think we have enough information to move on from here. So thank you again.
You're very welcome.
Any other
Thank you for the
commissioners
opportunity.
have any other comments or questions?
No, they pretty much told us what we needed to do. And in order to make that presentation to them. So thank you again.
Yes, thank you.
And what we presented today was passed along, so feel free to disperse it so that way everyone has a record.
Thank you. Appreciate
you.
Okay. During when they were presenting, I was thinking it would be awesome if we had that property where the church is. You know what I mean? For that, because we already have the facility. That's what Oldemeyer Center was originally. It was a gym, and we have the pool, and we're doing all the programs and stuff. And if we had that, it would be like awesome, ideal place. You know what I mean? With the parking and everything.
Right.
The pool. Yeah. But we don't. So that was just like wishful thinking. I was dreaming. So okay. Any other discussion on this item? Commissioners? No. Okay, thank you. Moving on to B. Receive an update on Seaside Municipal Code Section 2.28, Recreation and Park Commission.
All right. Good evening, board. Dan Mewis, Assistant City Manager, and I have a brief update on the ordinance for the commissions. So recently, the City Council, they went through a couple phases on how they were going to address amending Title II of the Municipal Code. So at the April 3rd meeting, the council approved and adopted the new Code of Conduct. That document does outline a lot of processes and actions that could be taken for that all of the commissioners should be abiding by. I know 3 of you have signed it. two of you, I gave you those documents today, so feel free, take some time. When it was adopted on the 3rd, they did have a 2-meeting window to have this signed and returned back. However, we haven't had a meeting since then, so we're catching up. So please take a look at that. Sign it when you get a chance and submit it back to myself or Dominique. So that was adopted on the 3rd. On April 17th, they had the first reading of the Title II amendments. That one went through. There was a couple tweaks that came out of that one. And then on May 1st, they held the second reading, which was approved then. So the new amendments will go into effect June 1st, which is 30 days after the second reading. So the purpose of the amendments for this go around was to modernize Chapter 2.14, all the boards and commissions, to align it with the FPPC guidance and help strengthen our governance and consistency. And then it revisits the key changes proposed at some other hearings. What's changing really, it's just streamlining the appointment and removal procedures and addressing any areas of compatibility. So right now there'll be a uniform term length. So all the commissioners now will have a 3-year term. I know some of you that are sitting here have been on the commission for decades, and that's not going to be what it's still going to allow for that. But what it's going to do, it's going to establish terms. And if there are people waiting in the wings, then those terms then could, be enacted. But if there's no one waiting in January, what will happen, we're going to stagger the terms. And so that way, not everyone is off in January of the next year. They'll be, year on, year off. So we can then start to develop this process and have more of updated record keeping on who came on the commission. Because there's some of you on here that I have no idea. There are no records on when you actually joined the commission. So I think we're going to try and, kind of have better record keeping when it comes to that. One of the other items in there requires the members to adhere to the adopted code of conduct. And it clarifies when terms expire, how reappointments are handled, and establishes rules for participation. So a lot of this stuff was just cleaning up what was in there. And there were just the first couple sections in each ordinance for every commission to try and make everything streamlined the same across. We had some commissions that had 9 members. One commission has 11 members. One has 5 members. So they're streamlining. Everything's going to be 7 across the board. I think we were at 9, and then we were at 5, then we went to 7, then we went to 9. Now we're back to 7, I think. Now we're back to 7. So when it comes to the appointment, so here's some of the couple of the changes. The mayor, with the advice of another member of the city council, makes appointments to the boards and commissions. Then they're going to do that in January. The council establishes the procedures for recommending applicants for appointment. And then each candidate for appointment to the board of commission will be required to read and acknowledge the new code of conduct. And the acknowledgement of the form shall be submitted during the application process. So there's a new section, compatibility. If a commissioner becomes a certified candidate for the city council, which basically means they filed all their paperwork, they're in the process, they have been certified by the county. What that does is that automatically will place the commissioner on an excused leave of absence until the election results have been certified. So you will not be removed from the commission. You just won't be able to participate until this election cycle is over. And just the general time frame that's generally like during election season, right around July, August through December is when the election would be certified. So the vacancy, if a candidate related to the absence does not constitute a vacancy, the seat is still preserved, and unless the candidate is elected. So if the candidate is elected, then we would have a vacancy for that seat. If not, you get to come back to that next following meeting. Just a couple of the cleanups here with compatibility. They added An appointment of a commissioner will be automatically placed on excused leave of absence when they become qualified candidate for the office of mayor or city council. It just said city council in there. So I make sure they added the mayor. And then, so the implementations in the next step. So January 1st, hopefully the code will be getting updated. We're going to be updating all the new commissioner handbooks. So every commissioner will be getting a new revised handbook. City clerk right now is working on some trainings that we will reestablish. We're trying to figure out what the best way to do, whether that will be an in-person training, virtual training, if there's other ways that we can do it and make it more readily available. And we're also working on putting together kind of like a recruitment kind of video kind of program to try and get more commissioners, because there's a variety of our commissions that have multiple vacancies. So we're trying to get everyone, up to speed and then on a full board. And so really we're just trying to smooth the transition and have a shared understanding of the new expectations. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So that was a high level information on what the changes were, but within the document at the first reading, our duties were changed, and that was redlined throughout the entire section of this. My question is, when is our recommendations going to be heard?
So I'm waiting for the city manager to give me direction on because what's going to happen is that they don't want individual commissions to come and make multiple changes throughout, right? It's my understanding now they want to have one full another pass with any other changes that may be affecting with the duties and whatnot. So we are going to be working on that. I can't give you a timeline on that right now, but this new one goes in effect June 1st. We're going to look at it as a team, and then we're going to bring something back to the commissions when we have an update.
Would you say that would be this year?
I can't say that. I would hope so, but I can't say that.
Thank you.
Else? Okay. And we all have the forms to read and sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see.
3 of you have them, 2 of you not, and the 2 that don't have them, I gave them the documents.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, the next item, business item 6C, review and discuss the development of the 2025-2026 work plan.
All right, commissioners, I put the work plan, it's in the packet. Generally we need to have this done by April 1st. Obviously, we've had a challenge meeting, so we do have some leeway. I guess one of the good pieces is that the budget got pushed back a little bit too. So we will still be able to kind of incorporate this into the budget as we move forward. So we have our work plan from last year. I don't know, Chair, how you would like to go through and work through this.
That's a good question. Because to be quite honest, the way that we have historically done it, which is like in the format where it says ongoing projects and blah, blah, blah. I like that format because it's easier for me to read and understand. And where it says, like completed and the priorities, if it's high, low, medium, whatever. But then the written out part is kind of confusing to me. It is. I can understand English and all that, read good, but it's just easier for me to see it in that format there. I don't know about anyone else. And I don't know how hard it would be to convert it to that. How we always have done it in years prior.
Just for clarification, it's still in that same order. If you look on page 6, it says ongoing projects. The only difference is that our work plan objectives, categorizes them on where they go. So like advisory body and to the city council, what that entails is anything reviewed our yearly commission ordinance, like the ordinance that we worked on, which was on this ongoing project. When we developed this Word document, it was every project that we've done. We just categorized it in 4 different aspects. And in those 4 different aspects, it gave us an outline on what we're targeting that year. So last year we targeted, or this past year, we targeted number 1, which was review and change yearly commission ordinance to catch up with current times. That is under 1, but it's still under the ongoing projects, or we completed that. So it really would be prior accomplishments, which is
Right.
page 7 and 8. So there was no really change. Everything was transferred over just into 5 different segments, so that when we're talking about capital improvements, like the dog park or Laguna Grande Parkway, we know that we're reviewing capital projects instead of looking at it here where we just listing all the projects, what we've done, and whether it was completed or not. So it's the same thing. It's just in a form, I
understand.
I would
Commissioner-
agree with you, Chair. It was much easier to read when it was landscape. The slipping back and forth and trying to figure out where it is also hard for me to follow. I agree with you on the format. Imagine that you and I agree on something.
I mean, even. I'm
First
not gonna
time
s-
for everything.
Yeah, I know, and
Dan, can you clarify the order of ongoing projects? Because what it sounds like is that people are confused as far as like the written port and the template, I guess you could say. Where it says ongoing projects is the same exact as how we have it organized from 1 through 5.
It is, however, we added. So if I remember correctly, when we were developing this the last time, this was the vice chairs broke it down into more details. So this is more of the meat and potatoes of the things that kind of fall in line with the commission's duties in the ordinance, right? So when we're going through that, this list here, for example, I'm looking at page 3, right? So if we're looking right here at work plan objectives, right? Advisory body of the city council. I believe that was an ongoing task that we had. It was on there. So way it was listed then, these are some of those areas within, because we had review budget. We had like these little bullet points were all part of the table. So it was like the vice chair said, it's kind of put into one section, like a pillar.
Yeah.
Of
So
what we're doing.
the table is exactly what you're looking at, where it says number 2, page 4, programs, fees, and operating budget collaborations. That is in that same table that we have. So I'm confused on, just for clarity, where it says ongoing projects on number 6, everything from page 3. Yeah, from page 3 up to 6 are exactly the same thing as this ongoing projects list.
okay.
So if we're talking about, we prefer the list never went away. But on our duties, we have to put them in subsections so that we know what we're hitting on. So on this list, if we wanted to work on the motor park improvements, that would go under probably the review capital improvements aspect of it.
You're not the only one, because this is upside down like this and that. I understand that. I was like lost in the spaghetti, or whatever you want to it is. I'm like, what the heck? Where am I at? No, I see.
Yeah,
I
that,
see.
you
I,
have to, line them up.
but I was getting like.
Go-
a
go to
headache
page
trying to
3.
play, so.
Then you-
So
you're facing
really
four.
what it is that, for example, I'm going to go to page 4
Page 4.
Okay,
and we're going to number 2, programs, fees, operating budget, collaborations. That's the title, right?
Gotcha.
So we had on the table a lot of these Blues in the Park collaboration. We had review current city partners and commission requests to collaborate on projects. Like we had a bunch of different subsets that were just in that table. So what the vice chair did was she just put everything in so we can look at. We're gonna maybe it's like, and I believe what her thought process was is that we would focus on one of these pillars each year, right? Like these are all pretty much going to be ongoing, but like if we wanted to take a focus like this year, hey, we are focusing on number 2 and we're going to try and do the most out of this here or whatever it may be. So
okay. So I think we can work through this item by item. I'm just old school. I'm old and the whole everything.
Not old school.
Anyway.
It makes sense. It's just easier when it's landscape and you can see it.
But for tonight, we can go through work plan objectives, number 1, advisory body to the city council. And it says, everybody can read that, right? And then areas of interest, and there's a list of
What
areas.
page are you on now?
3.
3.
So all the
Yep.
areas of interest is whatever is on the table. The landscape is still there. The only difference is that instead of working all 17 plans of ours, we've put it in 5 different pillars. And whatever pillar we want to focus on, we can focus on. If we don't just want to focus on the number 1 pillar, which is the advisory body to the council, we can take 3 of the area of interest there and maybe 1 of the area of interest in number 2 pillar. But if you look at page number 6, all of those projects that are listed here in these 5 pillars are all listed on the ongoing projects in that landscape that you mentioned you'd like to see it in. It's the exact same way. We've just separated in pillars so that we're not hitting all 17 and not getting the goals every year. It's just simplified so that we understand. But every area of interest within each pillar are every area that we have in this landscape one. It's just organized in 5 different pillars so that we understand which pillar we're going to hit, or if we're going to hit 2 out of pillar 1, 2 out of pillar 3, so that when we go through the landscape one, we know that we completed 7 out of the 17 goals that we've had put forth previously. So that's what we're doing today. Last year, we focused on pillar number 1 when we went through, we focused on pillar number 2. I think it was when we did the ordinance.
Well,
so right now I think number 1, the advisory body of the city council, right? Like that's an ongoing thing that this commission is doing. Okay. Is there anything that's here that we want to, I guess, really that you want to highlight and focus on for the next year? Or is there anything that you want to add? Because right, that's what we're going to do. And then maybe we're just going through here. Okay, let's check these boxes and make sure like, okay, this is relevant. This is relevant. Maybe not this one. We can remove this one. And then maybe we want to add something. I think that would probably be the best course of action to figure this out, like as we work through this right now.
Okay,
That
just to
makes
answer Commissioner Walton's question, on page number 7, it lets you know our previous accomplishments. So none of the landscape ever went away. We just, okay.
I know I've been traveling and I haven't been on meetings in the entire commission vote on this, or did you just change?
Yes, the entire commission voted on it. We actually had, yes, this format. We actually had, you were actually in attendance to 2 of those meetings, and I think we had a total of 4.
If it's voted and approved, then it's done.
This was during our last
Yeah.
development of the work plan.
Yes, you were here, you voted on it. We all voted on it. The landscape never changed. What we usually get is this landscape right here. What we're going over right now is what we approved last year on how we wanted the landscape to be organized so that we're not hitting all 17. So yes, I agree with you. It's easier digestible when you have a table, which the table is still here. We only look at the narrative each year when we're approving.
So. I understand what you're saying, all of these are completed. These are not, and these are ongoing.
Yes, these were the original ones from our original work plan before we changed them. So now we're gonna go through them and see if they're still applicable and if we still want to pursue them.
Ongoing.
Mhm.
And so this format. Never mind.
Oh, no.
This really reminds me of the first time I got a microwave back.
So this format is utilized to fulfill the landscape document here. So once we've decided on which areas we want to pursue and what we're going to work on, then Dan will go and plug it into this. And this is what we'll see.
Okay,
Did I get that correct?
okay.
Yes.
Someone is texting me and they can't get in on Zoom.
I don't have any. I have right now, everyone that's here is admitted. I just admitted someone a few minutes ago.
Okay,
I don't see any other participants waiting to get in.
okay. I don't know. It says, are we having a meeting? Yes, we're having a meeting. Blah, blah, blah. So anyway. So let's go. Item 1, work plan objectives. We're advisory body to the city council, areas of interest. Is there anything that we want to like highlight on that number or add? Vice Chair.
I don't want to add, but I think that we've reviewed and changed our yearly commission ordinance. I think that one's complete for now until we get update from Dan on when we'll be able to present our updates that we'd like to change. So
Okay,
I believe we can remove that now so that we don't carry that on to our next year's work plan or this current year's work plan. I don't have any area of interest in this particular pillar that we can
Okay.
actively work on this year unless someone in the commission feels like there's
does
something.
anyone else have any item on there you want to highlight or add anything else or?
Not in this area.
Okay, so we'll move on to the number 2, programs, fees, operating budget, collaborations. Okay, the areas of interest are listed there too, so.
Were we gonna do anything different with Blues in the Park collaboration this year? Or is that something that we were interested in?
Depends on what the bands have already been selected. Contracts are all been executed. So right now it would just depend on really the collaboration that I would be able to see would be any of like doing stuff during the actual day of the event, right? Whether it's being table, whether it's, hosting activities or games or something that the commission would be doing. That would be a way that I could see that collaboration piece.
Do we have swag? That we could like have a table
Yeah.
and,
We do have some, we actually have quite a bit of Parks and Rec swag, commission swag. And we did get, we have a tent and everything. So there's plenty of things that identify the commission.
right,
Is that something that we want to do this year? Is have a table?
So, if the commission wants to be out there and do it, that's, we can work through that. The first show will be July 13th, and then 5 consecutive Sundays following that.
Okay.
Okay.
We should add that to our active list for this year. That we're actively going to work on that one. Starting on July 13th with a table and swag is what I understood. Yeah. Parks and Recreation Commission community event. Is there something that we're looking to do just as ourselves as a Parks and Recs community event, like put on an event?
I mean, that would be something that if we leave it on, then the commission, we would just have to make sure that we go back and we add items to the agenda when we're talking about it. Like really, one thing we really should be getting out of this meeting now and after we develop the work plan is when we have agenda items, the agenda items for the future meetings should be reflecting on our work plan items and how we're going to achieve that.
correct.
Yeah, I agree. So do we want to add that as a goal to do this year?
Community event.
Yeah, like a community event specifically from our commission. I'm open to it. We'll have discussions about that when we add it, right?
Yeah, and I think that would be just, in a meeting in the near future would be a discussion on a commission focused community event. And then that's where we would then come out with the details, or it could be anything from, I mean, it doesn't have to be something of that scheme, but I mean, it can be.
I like that. Okay. I don't see anything.
Anybody else have any other ideas?
Well, some kind of a, informational event. To
Right.
let bring the community up to par of what we're actually doing.
All right, well,
No, I was just saying, some kind of, informational, session where we invite the community, let them know where we're at and where we're going.
and
As the Park and Recreation Commission.
so what I'm hearing from the commission is that we're going to leave that one on and bring it back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, everybody happy with all that? Okay, moving on to the next one, staff support and community enrichment. And then we have a list of areas of interest. I did? Well, we didn't go on the timeline for the other ones either.
I mean, it's still ongoing. Everything up there is ongoing
Exactly.
for number 2. And I'm assuming that the dollar figures and everything that we have, that's still pretty consistent.
Is that how much we have in our budget?
So that's part of this process is like trying to allocate funds for the commission for their budget. And if we need some things in here, like, so for example, we did budget last year for the commission to go to training, right? So that was in the budget. So we just need to make sure that so depending on what these costs are, we just need to keep that in mind and whether or not that's what we're going to need to do.
I'm sorry, I couldn't attend that.
Because that will fund our program, right? Like if we decide to have a community event, whatever that amount would be coming out of our budget. And then
Correct.
if we're looking to have like a table at Blues in the park with like additional swag, then that'll be like another area that would be coming out of our
Correct.
budget.
Okay, yes.
For number 3, the attend workshops when yearly state, federal, local funded recommendations be prior to the beginning of the year. I think that conference was really good. I don't know if there's something else around like that or more where all of us can attend. I know I had the opportunity to attend and we budget for that. It was like a 3-day event, like you get there Friday, Saturday, Sunday was more lax. It's a lot of people, but I think it's a very good conference to go to, especially with some of the key speakers, because it gives you an outline of like what the city does and like how your commission can have a direct input into getting those changes or getting that feedback that we've gotten from community to push a project forward. So I'd like to see that, and I don't know if they have like more local.
So next year, this one is in Long Beach. So it's can it'd be a little bit more of a challenge, right? You know, budget wise. But there are other through CPRS and as a member, there are other there's little things too, right? They do once you become a member, they do like there's lunch and learns, there's you know
like a whole board.
there's different sections and things that you can attend, and there used to be a conference that we do a 1-day one. It was in Morgan Hill, and I think some of you I even brought. I think James, you went once. Yeah. So that one has it's been on a hiatus. I think they're trying to bring it back, but there's other ones too that are within 2 hours maybe, or other like smaller classes. So it's more of just once you're a member, then just to stay active and just research and see like what comes up, right? And part of that is the commission, as commissioners, if you say, hey, we want it could be any, we can have some funding in here and you can find something on, it could be dog park planning or whatever it is, right? It could just be some off the cuff training that you see that you may find some benefits to, right? I see some that come across, but I don't see everything, right? So it could just take some research.
Okay. Anyone have any other areas of concern or whatever? Or anything you want to add to this? Okay. So we're gonna ready to move on to the next. Okay. Okay. Moving on to number 4, review capital improvement plans, projects, and budget review. And there's a whole list of CIP recommendations and requests.
Like, I don't know if there was a presentation that was given by Public Works, I think last meeting on really all their projects that they've worked on over the last, few months. So like those are the types of things, if the commission wants, we can have Public Works kind of give you ideas and present that, you want to see CIP budget presentation, but it's also probably good for those presentations to come to you too, right? So you can see them and see everything that's going on. Maybe they should be more park focused or rec focused.
Yes.
So I think we should definitely get a capital expense budget presentation, and I think we'll have that after the budget review.
Yeah, so we're developing the CIP now. I know Public Works is doing that, so we can probably get something after the budget's adopted, potentially. because you're not going to have another meeting.
Yeah, before then.
Yeah.
Okay, our capital expenses, we'd like to choose stuff now so that when you go to that budget, it could be allocated, or we can told like, oh, that's not going to be allocated until 3 years from now.
And I can tell you right now that the budget's a bit lean.
It's a what?
It's lean. So there's not a lot of, there's things that are in the program now that may be pushed because of where we're at. So I know that there's things that, we can take a look at, but you give me some ideas and I can.
My suggestion for capital improvement would be, I guess, just begin those stages of reviewing locations for an indoor facility. We're looking at an ask between 15 to 35,000 to begin that. I'd like us to have discussions on narrowing down what that looks like specifics on operations and programming. And then I guess the capital ask would be between that 1535 to begin once we've been able to put this on our agenda, talk about what those programs may look like in that facility, and then talk about maybe locations of what that would look like, and then at least have that money in the pot for when we're ready to move forward. That would be my suggestion as far as like the capital improvement. I know we have the dog park here. And I think it was just to look at different locations. And I don't know if Public Works has looked into that or if that's something on their budget or their projects that they're looking at. I'd be interested in that if there's interest with the commission to potentially talk about what that looks like, or if it's a high value area. Capra Park grant. I'm not sure what that is.
I think that had to do with the lease. So the council
Oh.
already approved the lease.
So we can probably remove that unless we want some sort of oversight, but I believe city council is doing the oversight, right?
Was that the $1 lease?
Yeah, just for the community garden. So they can get their grant funds.
I get it.
I would be interested on what was approved from the NIC from our list. Because we have Laguna Grande Park Pathway, explore the idea of lights, and I think we submitted lights.
Wasn't included.
Oh, it wasn't included.
How many of these out of all these, do we want to prioritize?
From this section,
Yes.
it's whatever we decide. So out of this list, it would be, my recommendation was for the indoor facility. But it would be up to us on what we want to prioritize. We are doing, so what we have so far is on section 1, we're doing the blues tabling. We're doing the discussion for the community event. And that's for item number 2. For item number 3 is our workshop and some training. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then whatever we choose from capital.
Chair, if I may.
Yes.
My recommendation would be, unless we're going to be striking things from here, right? I did hear, let's take the Capra Park one off because we already had that. But we should keep what we have on here because these are going to be ongoing. I think these are all topics that the commission has raised as topics. And then it'll be up to the commission to decide, hey, let's, those items that we're bringing up now, those will be the ones we'll focus on, but we'll keep them on here so we don't lose sight of, what the commission wants to work on.
So
And
we'll just prioritize later.
yes, this is a kind of a really robust work plan that we can narrow focus for each year. And then as things get checked off, then we add them to either the ongoing or the completed projects.
Like the ADA playground equipment, that's important. But we're already doing the trail system at Lincoln Cunningham.
Correct, but it's only,
That's that one. I know.
and that, like, so that's one park
Right.
that's probably only a third of the way done, right? We got the trails done,
Correct.
but there's still other pieces in there that we
Correct.
need to look at, and the commission will probably have a voice in what else
Right.
happens, as we did talk about, other NIC fundings and things like that. Like, that's how the commission plays a role.
The play apparatus is the ADA.
There is one,
Included in
there
that,
is
right?
one,
Yeah.
there is an ADA
Okay.
component
Okay,
in that.
good. Yes,
We have the improve the condition of the volleyball courts at Highland Otis. I believe that one's
Yes.
complete.
It
right?
is
that
complete.
is complete, yeah.
So we can, we can add that to completed.
One thing that I really, I know it needs to be done, and it's very costly, but at Catino Park, all the light towers need to be replaced eventually, because we have one that blew down in the storm, and that's gonna be replaced, but that is only one, and they're all the same age. So eventually those other ones are gonna come down. Hopefully they don't land on somebody when there's stuff going on there. But they're antiquated. They're 50 years plus old.
And we do have it in the budget to get that one.
Yeah, but that's one.
Yeah, and it's
And there's
roughly
I
75 grand.
think there's, how many is there total? 8 or
Or-
7 something. But anyway, they're like $70,000 each. So that's, it is. It is, but that needs to be done because it's a safety issue. It really, really is. That park is utilized a
That
lot.
park is heavily utilized.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, and just even the one light tower out does cause disruption for some types of rentals in the evening
Right.
because it's just not lit properly.
I just wanted to bring that up.
Do you want to add that to this, to
Yeah,
our capital
yeah.
improvement plan?
I think that would be a great improvement to add it to that. Light towers. Yes. Catino Park, Garnett Field. Okay. Is there anything in addition?
So I'm going through here. I'm gonna move the volleyball court to completed.
Yes.
We're gonna refine the review locations for indoor facilities to kind of add some extra asks in there. We're going to add a phrase in here, a bullet point about looking at the light towers at Catino Park. And removing the Capra Park.
Okay, everybody happy? I'm starting to understand this better. It's
Yeah.
baby steps for me, man, I'm telling you. Okay.
It's overwhelming when you see that. It's a lot of details.
Okay, number 5. Well, good to move on to number 5. Okay. Advisory body for active transportation plan, subcommittee perhaps, capital improvement plan. Okay. And it's ongoing. And there's 3 areas of interest. this?
I think this was just for seeing the future and what that would look like.
Okay.
I don't think we have anything right now that would particularly focus on this, but once those trails and stuff start being formed down and we talk about what that's gonna look like, I think this would come into more play.
Well, and then maybe too, part of it is that the commission is actively like attending like tag meetings and things like that. So you can start seeing what some of these new trails that are coming in. So that way you can have an understanding of some of these connections, right? Because their first phase is going to be wrapping up shortly, and that's down there in Delray Oaks, but it does come up into Seaside on Plumas, and then it goes under by the Frog Pond. So right now there's a phase that connects that one and it goes up General Gym all the way up to CSUMB. And then there's another one that will come down from there into Laguna Grande Park and connect to the rec trail. So there is a couple of these connectivity things that will be coming up. That I think it's just good for the commission to kind of have an idea of what's going on. So that way when these programs come up and they can report out like, hey, I attended this meeting. This is what we're the timeline we're looking at. And then we can start maybe revising this a little bit to figure out how that meets these goals.
Can we add the tag meetings onto this? I don't think we have that on here.
Tag meetings?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just whoever can.
When are they?
I mean, we can look and find out when those are. I mean, it could be even tag, it's, TMC, right? The transportation, because there's other things too that could, the surf bus is going to be coming on. Like there are things for connectivity that maybe go outside of trails and things of that nature, but they do benefit Seaside and the residents that maybe are more pedestrian bound than those that don't drive, right? Because maybe it's looking at, okay, well, the surf bus is coming here, how do we get a trail to the station so you can ride your bike there and then get on the surf bus and then end up in Salinas?
Boy,
I have a question, Dan. Is this something that also explores the otter bike like thing that they have here? Would that potentially connect them to us? You know how they do it over by East Garrison? They have like
They actually do things here in Seaside. They do have, but they're more off Giggling over there in Fort Ord the back way. Sometimes they've come through Eucalyptus, but no, but like they didn't come this year. But they do have some sort of events within the city, but it is more up that way towards Fort Ord.
that's the Sea Otter Classic.
Yeah.
Amgen came through here.
Yeah, I know.
A number about 10 years ago, something around there.
They almost came back.
Yeah. So that's always in the works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any more? No. Okay, that was good discussion.
And then we can just go through just making sure these ongoing projects. So we got the Lincoln Cunningham, Manzanita Stewart, we know that. And I think the recreation and park facilities encouraging attendance. That goes along with the tabling. Monitor park improvements. I think, the commission's pretty good at, going to the parks, seeing what's happening. All that great stuff right now. I think Lincoln Cunningham's like the main park that we have being constructed, but there's some other things that have been completed too that I think is good. So Capper got some improvements. A lot of the stuff that the NIC funding was put towards this last go around. A lot of those projects are getting completed now. So it's good to take a look at those. Work collectively with other commissions. That's something that we're constantly doing. Seek input from the department. We got the trail system on there again. Blues in the Park, ADA playground, youth involvement, reviewed locations for indoor facilities. So a lot of these things are here. We kind of have some more details And then we'll fill in these active other prior accomplishments.
Do you want to go through the prior accomplishments or what? Because it's all pretty much,
It all speaks for itself pretty much.
what?
It all speaks for itself pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay. Very good.
And then, this list will, ideally will continue to grow,
Yeah.
right? Every year, we'll get to check more boxes off.
Right. Yeah,
It looks pretty good.
I'm very proud to be part of this, to be honest.
And Chair, we should open up public comment.
Oh, right, almost forgot. Okay, public comment is now open on this item.
Members in the public in the chamber, please approach the podium. Members of the public on Zoom, you can raise your hand or use the *9. Not seeing any members of the public wishing to make public comment.
Okay. Oh. I'll find my spot. Okay, I see no members of the public in the chambers. And are there any members of the public on Zoom? No. Okay, seeing none, public comment is now closed. Moving on to the next item, reports from recreation staff.
Oh, reports. Okay, so we just had registration just opened last week for the summer programs. We have a lot of new programs that we started on. Swimming filled up quickly. We even had one that we missed in the guide, but added it and it filled up within one day. And that's a martial arts class. So we tapped one of our staff that has expertise in martial arts, and he teaches it in Monterey. And so we're like, why aren't you doing it for us? So he's starting it for us. So we're really looking in trying to see who has some hidden talents that we can, bring some new ideas. We're also, I started an adult baseball league that's wrapping up next weekend. We have our championship. So we actually did 2 seasons. We did 1 season at Catino Park, and then we just did a whole nother season, 10 games at Seaside High. So that we filled that up. We had over 100 players. Really cool, and using the MPUSD facilities, just using our MOU, which was really nice. We just had the Mother's Day luncheon last weekend or 2 weekends ago. Another great turnout, over 200 people attended. So we're really just ramping up, getting budget ready for the upcoming year, trying to figure out how we can continue operating what we have been doing, but trying to, rein it in just a little bit because our, budget is a little tight this year. Got the Blues in the Park lineup all squared away. We did have, so a little bit of tragedy. Our first performer that we had the first week, we got noticed that he passed away. So we had to pivot within the last week and find someone else. So, it is really sad, but one of those things. And it was Joe Lewis Walker. He's performed with us before, so we were looking forward to having him come back. We could, because we didn't have any of the promotional material made yet, so we were just finalizing everything when we got that word. But I'm sure we can probably make some sort of announcement for that. Also, 4th of July, we got the, happy to say we got the cover band, the White Album, the Beatles White Album band that will be headlining. They normally play at Golden State, so the fact that we got them coming in and headlining Blues in the Park or 4th of July is a really, really big deal. And we're just really excited for the summer. I'll let Bobby hit on some of this other stuff on his on his reports, because we haven't had a report in a really long time. I did hit onto the NIC stuff, the commission, trying to think off the top of my head. A lot of the big stuff that they are moving forward with that they're going to recommend are benches, bike racks, things of that nature, amenities, couple murals and utility boxes. Those were kind of some of the big things. And I'll be presenting that at the budget meeting. So that's pretty much all I got.
Recognize me. What about the swim program? How are you doing for lifesavers?
We are trending in the right direction. We are still having some struggles, but we have been able to get some more, and recently did have a class. So we are getting there. There's still the challenge is the older lifeguards, right? We're able to get the high school kids, but high school kids have a lot of limitations and availability issues, right? So we are really trying to market and get some older individuals to come in and help us, because we need some more availability really during the day. That's we're good on the weekends and we're good on the evenings. It's the core hours for adult lap swim, exercise, and senior swim that happen really early morning, mid morning. So we're trying to get those squared away. During the summer, we're generally pretty good. We get a good group of kids that come back from college. So right now, we're okay. And then I did want to highlight too, the last council meeting, the council did approve. I'm going to be partnering with MPUSD, and we are going to be running an after-school program at D-Lamp for 120 kids next school year. So we're in the process right now of hiring staff to be able to facilitate that. So ideally, I don't want to say it's a test, but we're starting at D-Lamp, and if we can do this, we can grow it. I would love to be in every elementary school with an on-site after-school program.
Are we having a drone show for 4th of July?
We are not.
Is there a reason why? Or
We have the the drones for when we did for the birthday was a significant cost. It was $20,000. For 4th of July, it doubles to triples. And my budget just does not that was something that we did not even put in the budget this year. We are continuing with our normal lawn party, full day, music, food, excitement. And then the evening, everyone will be enjoying their own celebrations.
safe and safe?
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you for the presentation. Reports from park staff.
The main report from park staff is Lincoln Cunningham, I believe, is open softly. The fences came down. Go out and take a look, walk those paths. They are amazing. We are working on, the council just approved the contract for the playground equipment at the last meeting. So it's on order, and then hopefully it will be installed fairly quickly once we get it. But I think it will still be probably middle summer, maybe August. But they did put in kind of a pergola there to have a little shade. We're waiting to get some of the picnic tables that we'll be putting in under the pergola, as well as barbecues. So that'll be nice. In addition, I mentioned Capra. So Capra got a new picnic bench. It got a water fountain. So the water fountain went in. And there's a new mural at Capra too that was put together from Blue Zones project. So that was really nice. That's on the basketball court, facing out. And then I'm trying to think what other parts. I think that's really the grant I got for Laguna Grande. We kind of made it through the first hurdle with Caltrans. So Caltrans finally approved just recently kind of the biological stuff. So now it's going to the state. The state's doing their review. So hopefully we'll be getting a contract from the state for those grant funds, so we can actually start to work on the park there. So looking forward to that.
Okay, any questions or anything? Okay, thank you for that presentation. Okay. Reports from commissioners. Commissioner White,
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Gaines Lynch.
Nice to be back at, it's not recording, Chris. It's nice to be back. Nice to be back at a meeting. I'm still recovering. You know, I got a long way to go. But, things are good and I'm here today. So.
We're all happy that you are here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Walton.
You should have mentioned this in your update. We've launched Seaside Stars for this year, and I'm honored and privileged to be on the committee. And this time I can actually serve every single year. Yes, Dan.
No.
Every single year, there's been someone that I've been connected with. Last year, Bobby, when you received your star, because we're on the commission, I couldn't. So I'm thrilled to actually be able to participate this year. And we have our second meeting tomorrow. That's it.
Okay. Vice Chair Lobo.
We had track this, our last track meet is on this weekend. We were able to have kids from Seaside go to Marina. We had a total of 150 kids this year for Marina. And we did the John Lewis Youth Day last weekend with CPY and a lot of other organizations. So it was really nice. We had PK that was out there last weekend also. So it really brought the community together. That's my only report.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. Since I'm the president of PAL, Police Activities League in Seaside, we concluded our basketball season and end of the season celebration and banquet and stuff, which I was unable to attend. I was sad about that. That's okay. It was a very successful season for all the kids. We just concluded the soccer program this last Saturday, and that was a very, very fun and well-attended program, not only for the kids, but the parents also, and the coaches, and myself included. We are looking forward to beginning the Junior Giants season real soon. And there's other stuff too. I just can't recall. It's been so long. But anyway, I wanted to bring up some items about some of the parks. Like I wanted to ask about if there's any dog waste stations at the Lincoln Cunningham Park, for one, because I drive by there like every day, just checking to see if the fence is still up, and it's down finally, but I haven't seen any of the dog waste stations there. And I've gone around to some of the other parks, and there's some of the trash and recycle units are really damaged. The doors are missing. And it's not just one location, it's around the city, different parks. They've been vandalized. And then also some of those bike tool units. The one at Catino Park is missing a lot of the tools that were on that originally. But those are all good things that are really necessary to be at the parks. In various locations for people to use. And I did meet with Monty, Public Works Director, and talked to him a little bit about Catino Park and the weeds that are around the whole entire perimeter where the turf meets the edge of the field. They need to be removed. It's around the whole entire park. It really is. And the only way to do it is with like needle nose pliers. You pull them out by the roots, you know? Because I've done that in my yard, like in the driveway and the cracks where they come through. It's a similar kind of a thing. You know, you just got to get down on your hands and knees and pull them out one by one. Because they're not going to go away. And spraying them with some kind of poison or something, they're still going to be there. You got to actually pull them out physically. No, that one is not. No. But it's one of our major, it's like our, whatever you want to call it, it's like the magnet park or whatever. It's utilized. I mean, we rent it out to a lot of different people, programs, and we need to make it look good and keep up to maintain it in a good quality. The whole park. You look around where the turf meets the edge, where the fence is around the whole park. And then I've walked the turf, and there's a lot of areas where the turf is like separating the seams. They're lifting like the picture where it gets a lot of traffic. I'm just gonna say or use, like the pitcher's mound around the home plate area, between the dugouts and the home plate, and just around the whole thing. It just needs to be walked and looked at and all that.
I mean, if you think about it, the park's almost 7 years old. And, you know,
Right.
generally they're about 10 years for the turf. So we're getting there.
Well, I spent a lot of quality time during the soccer season because I would go in the shack and get a plastic garbage bag and the grabber things and go around and pick up all the garbage and the bottles because I'm proud of the park. I am. I want it to look good. If I can drive by and see garbage and stuff, that's not good, you know? So I take care of stuff. I try to do my part, you know? It's easy to complain, but I actually try to do my part. So anyway, I think that's all I have. But it is really good to see you back. And I hope we continue to see you. Does anyone else have anything else? Okay, thank you all for showing up. Appreciate your efforts. Be well, and this meeting is now adjourned.